In early 2025, the aviation world was abuzz with rumors and speculation, as industry insiders and enthusiasts alike tried to make sense of a surprising announcement that sent shockwaves through the global airline community. China Southern Airlines, one of Asia's largest and most influential carriers, revealed plans to sell its entire fleet of 10 Boeing 787-8 Dreamliners, a move that caught even seasoned analysts off guard. These state-of-the-art jets had once been the airline's pride and joy, representing a leap forward in technology and passenger comfort. So, the sudden decision to offload them sparked wild speculation and intense debate across the industry. Was there a hidden safety issue lurking beneath the surface, something that hadn't yet come to light? Or perhaps a secret political deal had gone awry, forcing the airline's hand in ways the public could only guess at? Theories flourished online, with aviation forums and social media feeds lighting up as people around the world weighed in, fueled by the drama of a major airline offloading such valuable and advanced aircraft. Then, in a twist that no one saw coming, China Southern abruptly canceled the sale just a few months later, leaving industry watchers even more perplexed. The sudden reversal only deepened the mystery. What was really happening behind the scenes at one of the world's most prominent airlines? Was this a sign of deeper trouble within the company, or just another example of the unpredictable, often turbulent nature of the aviation industry, where fortunes can change overnight? The truth, as it turned out, was less about hidden secrets and more about the complex, ever-shifting realities of global aviation, where economics, politics, and technology are constantly in flux. The Dreamliner saga was not a high-stakes thriller but rather a fascinating case study in how business decisions are shaped by a web of international factors, from shifting market demands to government policies. Sometimes the real story, rooted in the intricate dance of economics and diplomacy, is even more captivating than the wildest rumors. Despite the rumors swirling in the media and speculation among industry watchers, China Southern's decisions were driven by clear business logic, not by hidden scandals or mysterious motives. The airline's leadership faced tough choices, but their actions were rooted in practical realities. There were no secret defects in the aircraft, no backroom deals shaping the outcome, just a straightforward response to shifting economic and political realities that every global airline must navigate. The initial plan to sell the Dreamliners was about efficiency and long-term strategy. The jets, once a perfect fit, no longer matched the airline's evolving needs as market conditions changed. Like any major carrier, China Southern constantly reviews its fleet to match market demand, optimize routes, and ensure profitability. This is a normal part of airline management, not a sign of crisis. But as the US-China trade war escalated in early 2025, the landscape changed overnight. Political tensions and new tariffs introduced a wave of uncertainty that rippled through the aviation industry. Suddenly, selling the jets became risky. Future aircraft deliveries were now uncertain, and the value of existing assets was harder to predict. The airline had to weigh every move carefully. The airline had to pivot quickly, prioritizing stability and resilience over pure optimization. Protecting the company's future became more important than short-term gains. This wasn't a dramatic reversal, but a rational, measured response to new risks and a rapidly changing environment. The Dreamliner story is a lesson in how airlines must adapt to forces beyond their control, balancing ambition with caution and always staying ready to adjust course. There's no single secret behind these decisions, just two enduring truths: economic strategy and political necessity, both shaping the path forward. Understanding both is key to seeing the real picture and to appreciating the complex world in which airlines operate today. When China Southern announced the sale of its Dreamliner fleet in late 2024, the decision seemed not just logical, but almost inevitable to industry watchers. The move was a direct response to a rapidly changing aviation landscape, one that had been upended by the pandemic and was still struggling to find its footing. Domestic travel within China was experiencing an unprecedented boom. Airports were packed and short-haul flights were in high demand as millions of travelers opted to stay within the country's borders for business and leisure. In stark contrast, international long-haul routes remained eerily quiet. Restrictions, uncertainty, and shifting travel habits meant that these flights were operating at a fraction of their pre-pandemic capacity. Wide-body jets like the 787-8, once the pride of the fleet for their range and comfort, had become a financial burden. They were expensive to maintain and operate, yet spent more time parked than in the air. Using these massive planes for short domestic hops was like deploying a semi-truck to deliver a single pizza, inefficient, costly, and ultimately unsustainable for the airline's bottom line. The airline's management pored over the data and saw a clear mismatch: too many large, underutilized planes, and not enough passengers to fill them. The numbers simply didn't add up. Selling the Dreamliners became a cornerstone of a broader strategy to streamline the fleet, cut unnecessary costs, and focus on aircraft that matched the new travel patterns. China Southern wasn't alone. Across the country, other major airlines were making similar moves, retiring or selling off their largest jets and investing in smaller, more flexible aircraft that could better serve the shifting market. The plan was straightforward, but ambitious. Generate much-needed cash from the sale of expensive assets, reduce ongoing maintenance and operational expenses, and quickly adapt to a new market reality where agility and efficiency were more important than ever before. At the time, industry analysts praised the move as a textbook example of smart, proactive management, an airline making tough choices to stay ahead of the curve. But as the world would soon discover, the only constant in aviation is change, and the next twist was just around the corner. The pandemic's impact on aviation was profound and long-lasting. International travel, once the backbone of major airlines, recovered slowly and unevenly. By late 2024, flights between China and the West were still far below pre-pandemic levels. This left airlines with too many wide-body jets and not enough profitable routes. Domestic travel bounced back, but it required smaller, more efficient planes. The mismatch was costly idle Dreamliners drained resources without generating revenue. Selling them was a painful but necessary adjustment to a changed world. Airlines everywhere were forced to rethink their strategies and fleets. The Dreamliner sale was a direct response to this new reality, but global events would soon force another pivot. Just as China Southern prepared to sell its Dreamliners, the US-China trade war escalated. New tariffs and political tensions led Beijing to halt all new Boeing deliveries to Chinese airlines. Suddenly, China Southern couldn't count on getting replacement aircraft. Selling the Dreamliners now meant risking a future shortage if international travel rebounded. The airline's priorities shifted from efficiency to self-preservation. The auction was canceled. Holding onto the jets became a strategic necessity. The Dreamliners, once a burden, were now insurance against an uncertain future. The trade war had turned a business decision into a geopolitical chess move. In aviation, global politics can change everything overnight. China Southern's Dreamliner fleet was a symbol of its ambition. The 10 787-8s, delivered in 2013 to 2014, were part of a massive, diverse fleet of over 900 aircraft. Even after the planned sale, the airline would still have plenty of Dreamliners, including newer 787-9s. Usage data showed the 787-8s were already being phased out, with fewer flights each month. The sale was a logical next step, until politics intervened. With new Boeing deliveries frozen, the airline had to reintegrate the 787-8s, even if they weren't ideal for current routes. The numbers tell the story, a plan for efficiency, derailed by global events. In aviation, strategy is always at the mercy of the world outside. The trade war didn't just affect China Southern, it hit Boeing hard. Dozens of new jets built for Chinese airlines sat undelivered in the US. Most were 737 MAX 8s, but several Dreamliners were also stranded. Each undelivered plane meant lost revenue and mounting costs for Boeing. The freeze put hundreds of millions of dollars and thousands of supplier jobs at risk. Boeing's entire order book for China, over 100 planes, was suddenly in jeopardy. The company faced a tough choice: keep building and hope, or find new buyers in a crowded market. The China Southern saga was just one part of a much larger crisis. In global aviation, every decision sends ripples across continents. While China was offloading wide-body jets, airlines elsewhere were snapping them up. Middle Eastern and Asian carriers were expanding, ordering new long-haul planes to meet surging demand. For them, the international recovery was strong. Wide bodies were in short supply. China Southern's plan to sell its Dreamliners made perfect sense in this context. It was a seller's market. The contrast was stark in China: too many big planes; elsewhere, not enough. This divergence showed how the pandemic's impact varied by region. Airlines had to adapt their fleets to local realities, not global trends. The interconnectedness of aviation meant one airline's surplus was another's opportunity. China Southern tried to capitalize, but politics got in the way. The story is a snapshot of a global industry in flux. The China Southern Dreamliner saga is a lesson in adaptation. Airlines can no longer plan based on economics alone. Geopolitics now shapes every major decision. A perfect fleet plan can be upended overnight by a trade war or political directive. For passengers, these shifts affect everything from flight options to ticket prices. The story also highlights the need for strategic reserves. Sometimes holding on to older jets is the safest bet. Airlines may move away from just-in-time fleet management, building in buffers for the unexpected. The real takeaway? Flexibility is now the most valuable asset in aviation. The industry's future belongs to those who can pivot quickly as the world changes. The sky has always been turbulent, but now, the storms are as much political as economic. Success will go to those who can read the winds and adjust course no matter how unpredictable the journey.